Asante sana Wasonga for your time.
Thank you.
Wasonga, I'll begin with you. These by-elections really was just to be low-key, perhaps just a test of power on where we are at as a country in terms of the opposition versus the government, as well as just the question on whether we'll have people actually come out and turn up and vote for their preferred candidates. But, security was a big aspect and a big question mark. From where you sit, do you feel, just from the scenes that what we were seeing, this was a secured by-election in terms of whether the voter was secured, the votes were secured, the whole process was secured? From where you sit, what is your view?
Okay, thank you, Cynthia, first for this chance, at least to talk about matters interest of this country.
Yeah.
From where I sit, I think the elections were majorly peaceful. Because if you look at what was happening, we were having like almost 23 by-elections collectively. That's when we look at the MCAs, the senator, and then the member of parliament. But areas where we witnessed some quite of violence were only like 3 areas. So 3 out of 23, meaning that we give them over 80% performance by the IBC. But again, what happens is that, if you are a football fan, then after elections, the by-elections for every political players is like a friendly match, just as you prepare for the league. Yeah. Okay. So what happening is that in every election, it is just the political players try to test their preparedness as far as the party and everything to see how far they can go going into the general elections. And from the results and from what we can see during the by-election, we can see that the political parties now will have to go back and do the post-mortem of the entire process and say, where did we fail, who gained and who loses in the by-election. So to me, as far as the preparedness of the ABC, they did perform well. But it was not as a surprise. Where we witnessed chaos, there were reasons as to why there was some few chaos here and there. Because where there is, in every election, in areas that there are so many stakes involved, then there must be such kind of differences among the political players. But majorly it was so peaceful. So I can say that to some extent, let us not only focus on the negativity. The problem with us Kenyans is that we always, even if you perform very well, we'll always look at the little minor mistake that you did and try to criminalize the entire thing. So out of 23 by-elections, there were only like 2 areas whereby there was so much chaos. I think 3. But the rest was so peaceful. We were talking of 6 MP by-elections and 1 senator. There were no chaos in Baringo, where they were doing the Senate by-elections. There were no chaos in Ugunja, Magarini, and Banisa. So they did well. For the MCAs, we've not had anything or any complaint across over 10 MCAs that were vying for the same seat.
All right, Faraj smiled on that point, and I'd love to know why. But this is a newspaper that was done on Friday by the Standard that spoke of ballot bloodshed, where we were having situations where, including even a member of parliament who was, attacked by some of the people that were on the polling station, allegedly goons. We had people that were being stripped their clothes just to identify were they carrying marked ballots. We had situations where the former Attorney General Justin Muturi, whose hands were on a man's shirt. And so really it was about mistrust, wasn't it? We are safeguarding something here. It's a high stakes election. We need to be on the ground. But talk about narrative as well, because the things that we were seeing that was going around the country, even from some of the political leaders and the political class, it was sort of to control the narrative on, yes, we lost, but this has happened, or we won because of this happened. From where you sit, what's your view?
Good morning again, viewers. First of all, I want to take this opportunity to appreciate and to congratulate those who won genuinely. Secondly, I want to comment on by-elections. It was just only by-elections where we had to field candidates, where we had to get representation, where candidates were nominated as CSS, others lost their life. But it is quite unfortunate that we are not yet in a democratic state whereby those who lost the election feel that they were denied a chance that a majority of Kenyans spoke. For example, I will begin by condemning on what happened in Kaspol.
Yeah.
I will condemn on what happened in Malava, Mbeere North, Kajiado. As we can speak right now, we are not yet there. Then,
From where you sit, what do you feel happened?
I'm going to that.
Okay.
So let me begin by condemning also on what happened yesterday in Kariobangi North. Then let me start by MCA seats. For example, we witnessed violence in Kajiado where the current opposition leader, Rigathi Gachagua, during campaign times, was denied a chance to go there. In Narok. Then he forcefully ended there because of the support. Then a DCP party, which is a young party, won 3 MCA seats. That's good. Then you go to area like Mbeere North, where we expected Honorable Karis to win. But it is quite unfortunate that everybody there was unsatisfied, where we saw so many electrical malpractices and IBC did not take any action. For example, we saw an MCA from all the way from Nyeri came on wearing a party color. And also giving bribes to people. Then we saw him encountering the former Attorney General. So
Are you able to substantiate those the claims of bribery? Because that's a very serious allegation.
Yeah, we saw it happening on live television, whereby they had a small fight. Then the MCA went, then changed the party color, then came back. Secondly, we can see in elections like Mbeere and Malava, there were very high investment there. You can see in Mbeere North, the former agriculture minister, Linturi, he said that for an MP seat, they spent there over 600 million shillings. And imagine spending over 600 million shillings for an MP who is going to serve for only 1.5 years.
But Faraj, you do understand that these are allegations, and you know one of the things that IBC really has been speaking about is that we as a country, if you've got a problem with a particular election, you've got evidence or sentiments that you want, you know, you need to make those formal complaints. And these complaints that we've not seen whether the former agriculture CS has made to IBC or any person for that matter.
Not Nane, Njiru, the lawyer Njiru for opposition, said that they are going to sue and they are going to complain for their victory. Then secondly, I believe that election in Mbeere North, it was not free and fair, because at times you got that during the counting of votes, we saw the CS who went to a polling station and also bullied some agents there. So in law, I don't think that the CS is supposed to do campaign. He was just supposed to go and vote and go home. So generally, elections were not free and fair in Mbeere and Malava. In Malava, we can see that opposition leaders, where the Natembea team, Honorable Seth Panyako was harassed in the morning. Some goons came in. Some of them attacked the former Interior CS Eugene Wamalia vehicle. So we can see that those were not the right thing. I think according to our constitution, on Electoral Act 2011, we are supposed to see IBC taking action. They have to nullify those people who are doing irregularities during the campaign.
All right. Wasonga, what would be your response to some of the observations that Faraj has pointed out here?
I will not go by the hearsay or by the words on the street, because I know, you know, it's only in politics where everything. In politics, you can say anything and everything, but you cannot justify whatever you are saying. If these leaders believe that there were some wrongdoings during the process, the election process, the best thing, we are a country governed by the rule of law. The best thing they could do is to take the matter to court, present the evidence, then let the court do their job. But we cannot be in a situation whereby we go on the streets, create stories without any evidence to it. So I will not try to discuss that. If whatever the opposition felt that the election was not free and fair, the best thing to do is to give evidence and take the matter to court, let the court decide.
Right.
But one thing I will say is that, and I will tell my brother here, is that in any part of the country or in any part of the world whereby you realize that you are going into election and there's so much at stake, then there are some kind of form of intensity developing towards the election.
Yeah.
Why did I say that the election to me was fairly peaceful? Because the three areas where we witnessed some kind of chaos and violence were in Kasipul, Mbere North, and Malava. And if you look at those three areas, Cynthia, you'll agree with me that there were a lot at stake. It was not just but a mayor, this party versus this party, or this individual versus this individual. The political players were trying to prove their might and their value and their worth, gaining into the 2027 general election. It was like, who is going to win what? Let me give you an example.
Yeah.
If you go to Kasipul, okay? We all know that Kasipul is majorly an ODM area. And in under normal circumstances, there tend not to be more of chaos or differences among the political parties. But you realize that it was not only against the ODM candidate, Mheshimiwa Boyd, and his major opponent, the Otete guy, Aroko.
Philip Aroko.
Yes, but there was so a lot at stake. The governor came in and it was like, you know, if you look at what was happening on the ground, you realize that the ODM party wanted to prove that this is where I come from as the national chairperson of the ODM. I'm trying to secure my second term in office as the governor. You know, I'm trying to prove to my opponent that I'm the one to say here, hapa mimi ndio kusema. So you realize that during that processes, there were a lot that were happening.
Yeah.
And it is reasonable that amid all this, some tension was bound to happen. The only problem that we should criticize, and something that we should know, is that the preparedness of the IBC and the security personnel in such areas should be top-notch, okay? So that we don't end up with the individual being wounded like we saw to Mheshimiwa Kaluma and some cases in Malava. And also the discipline of individual leaders should also be questionable, because if I look at a party leader, okay, who is supposed to lead, this is a former attorney general, this is a former speaker, not just a mere village champion. This is someone that has held some of the top position in the land, going and almost engaging in a fist fight with a fellow voter or a fellow resident. That one was uncalled for. And such kind of cases, serious action should be taken against such guys. Yeah. So I think what we should be talking about is that the security apparatus and the IBC should at least tighten their level of preparedness in areas that there is so much tension, there is so much stiff competition among the political players. Okay. Let me give you an example. During the campaigns period, there were a lot of chaos in Kasipo. There were a lot of so many violence. And I realized that at times, the IBC had to summon the two main contenders, that is Mheshimiwa Boyd and Mheshimiwa Aroko. They were being summoned, and to some extent, they were even fined.
Yes.
Okay? Yeah. So that was, to me, it's a recommendable job, because but to some extent, the IBC should now be more strict in adhering to the law and the election laws, so that whenever someone tries to create chaos in whichever position, there should not be any kind of sympathy or mercy to such individual. They should now be disqualified, so that we don't encourage the character of people misbehaving in every election area. But the security apparatus also should not play politics with the lives and the security of this nation. This will not be politicians. Let them play their part as the security personnel. This will not get and involved into the politics of the day and try to be take sides. Okay, if it is a matter of keeping peace, then it will be ensuring that every political players comply to the law and order of that area.
Faraj.
I want to comment something on Mr. Wesonga's comment on Kasipul. In Kasipul, we saw Honorable Kaluma being beaten, and also his bodyguard, he alleged that his bodyguard gun was taken, and that is a sitting MP.
Yes.
What will happen to a common mwananchi who has no security? In my view, in issues like that, I don't have to say Aroko is an opposition or is an independent candidate or Boy is an ODM candidate. It will be fair for IBC because they had already fined them to disqualify such competitors so that other people can learn from the mistake. What we want in our country is peace. Secondly, we want IBC to be independent institution. For independent institution to work well, we should come up with independent police, whereby in such issues, we should have, IBC should be given independent police where they should not side in either sides. You know, in our current government, we can see the CS giving orders, the interior CS giving orders. For example, we saw the withdrawal of security for Governor Natembeya. But that was just politics. Why didn't he withdraw the security for CS Ruku? So we want a fair nation. What I'm talking about is a fair nation.
Did the withdrawal of security of Governor Natembeya happens during the campaign period or before?
During the campaign period. We were in a campaign mood.
No, I think when the Governor Natembeya security were withdrawn, it was not during the campaign.
Recently,
it was way back.
Before election, currently, before election.
Let me tell you, during that time, we didn't even have the IBC. If
I'm talking about the current one.
Natembeya's security was withdrawn just recently.
Recently.
Yes, but even if it was...
2 days, is it 2 days to election?
Let us not mix politics. Under what circumstances led to the withdrawal of the security? Was it because of the politics or was it some other things?
Because of the politics.
No, my friend.
It's just because of the politics, because it is not singing the song of the government.
So is it that the only Natembeya was the only guy that does not agree with
Halwale's
the
security was withdrawn as well.
But now that is...
No, but to Faraj's point, right?
Yeah.
This is a tactic that we saw not just even during this regime of William Ruto, but also during Uhuru Kenyatta's regime, where, you know, top politicians, their secretaries will be withdrawn. The question will be why, you know?
In trying to intimidate them or what?
The question will be why. So to Faraj's point, could be the politics involved as well? Could be just mere politics, actually?
I would not say it's mere politics because whoever, I've never heard Natembeya complaining or saying why the security was withdrawn.
Right.
Maybe I would be so much interested to listen to CS Murkomen giving reasons as to why the security
now,
was
withdrawn. Let me tell you what the CS said, right?
Yes.
He talked about some of the, you know, leaders being involved in quote-unquote goonism activities, or, you know, hiring goons as well, and said, you know, there's no reason for us to be able to protect you if you're going to pose as well a security threat to the same officers that are supposed to protect you. And that led to the withdrawal of Halwale's security as well as George Natembeya's security on the eve of the polls.
Maybe because of the violence we were witnessing in those areas. And I think that one, to that time, okay, one thing you'll know with me that I won't support something that I believe is wrong.
All right.
If the CS can say that they withdraw the security because these leaders were engaging in some act of goonism, then the best thing they could do is to take legal action against them, because so that they don't engage in violence in this country.
All right.
But not to try to play politics. This is what I was saying, Cynthia, just before my brother came in, is that let us play clean politics. And wherever there is a reason as to take whichever action we are taking, then there must be a very solid reason behind it.
All right.
Not that we just try to justify and go by the roadside ulabalus.
All right.
Let us
Faraj,
go. Yes.
Respond to that as we would love to move the conversation forward, but respond to that in a minute.
About the issue of security.
Yeah.
The issue of security, actually, I say that era has gone. The moment somebody comes up with a new ideology, let us embrace that person. For example, when Natembeya comes in and say that he's coming up with something like Tawe movement, whether you support him or not, he's entitled to security. He's a state officer. Don't withdraw his security.
All right.
Then when I finalize, we can see the same, it's not about Natembeya only playing politics. We can see that there are some other governors who are playing politics of the government. For example, the Madam Gladys Wanga. She was supporting ODM candidates. Why don't his security be withdrawn? So it's quite unfair to intimidate other politicians. Then secondly, let me go back to Malava and Mbere. During the campaign period, we saw something that I may call voter bribery. Why? Because we can see that people in Malava were given blankets, were given mattresses to lure them to vote for somebody who is being supported by the government. We can see even some relief food are diverted to Malava.
I mean, where did you get that information from?
It was everywhere. It was everywhere. It was everywhere.
Right.
But that is not voter bribery. Yeah.
What is
Gentlemen,
that?
I'd love us to
I don't
move
think
this-
that's
During
voter
campaign
bribery.
time?
I'd
No,
love us
that's
to
not
move this
voter bribery.
conversation.
During
forward.
campaign time?
If you've been into politics long enough, then you'll understand that that is the voter bribery only happened during the election day.
Listen,
not
No,
during the
no,
campaign
no.
time.
I'd love us to move this conversation forward because there could be a lot of side views as well as opinion on what voter bribery is and whether there was any on the election
Yes.
date or even before the election day. But I'd love us to go to the Daily Nation on just the fact that there are leaders within the broad-based arrangements, or at least they belong to those parties, UD and ODM, but they were supporting rival candidates. For example, Mohammed Ali wasn't supporting an ODM candidate, by nature, question is, would he have to had support
A UDA
the ODM candidate for
Yeah.
Magarini by-elections, but he was supporting one from DCP. Caleb Amisi, who is an ODM member, was supporting a candidate from a DAPK, that is from Malava constituency. Boni Halwale of UDA was supporting Panyako of DAPK, as well as Majimbo Kalasinga of Ford Kenya was supporting an independent candidate. Now, there are talks that there could be disciplinary. Some of these people will be pulled from perhaps powerful committees in the houses or party leadership or parliamentary leadership for that matter. Boni Halwale serves as the majority whip of the Senate. And Wasonga, would he be whipped himself, be removed from that position because he seems to be singing a different tune from what UD expects?
If as per the UDA statement, or as per the different political parties statement is anything to go by, then it is not a matter of if but when. Because, again, as I said, Cynthia, you'll realize that after election, when we go into by-election, it's always start the beginning of the reformation and the formation of different alliances towards election. So whatever we were witnessing now is that those individuals who to some extent have somehow walked out of their political parties technically, they were now trying to say that we are not with you guys. So whether you kick us out or not, we've already left the house. We were just there legally, but physically we were not there. Talk of the Kajiado senator and the Kajiado North member of parliament. I'm talking of Musimi Waseki and Ogogoyo. These are individuals that have already pledged their allegiance to Rigathi Gachagua, even though they were elected on a UDA party ticket. This is not even the first time we are witnessing this. Even during the Jubilee, when President William Ruto decided to form his own political party, the UDA party, and you remember when we were going to the by-election, the Kiamba by-election, the first MP to be elected on a UDA ticket was the Kiamba member of parliament, Kawanjiko. And during that time, those who were aligned to President William Ruto, then the deputy president, already decided their fate, and they said, we are not part of this government. So whatever is going to happen to this individual is just now trying to make their exit from their political parties legal. And now saying that it is now official, the marriage between you and us is over. But technically, it's just like you stay with your wife and you sleep in different bedrooms. So technically, you are not together, but
I'm going to ignore that analogy.
You understand? Yes.
Yeah.
So you are just together for the sake of whatever reason you have, but legally they are together. So now I think whichever action is going to be taken to them, it's bound to happen. But there were some individuals that were still playing cat and mouse game. They were technically out and in at the same time. Talk of those guys sana within the UDM, the ODM party, who are against the broad-based formation.
Yeah.
You realize that these guys have not officially disowned the ODM party, but their action speaks otherwise. I'm talking of the likes of Sifuna, Babu Owino, Caleb Amisi, and company. And also the UDA, the Wamushomba, and the group. They already go against the principle of their parties. So that is why even if we look at the by-elections, they were not fully. I did see Sifuna campaigning like the Sifuna I used to know, or Babu Owino going out there to campaign for the ODM candidate, because somehow they did disagree with the ODM and the arrangement. So even if they were going to be kicked out of the ODM parties and the UDA parties and their different political parties, already they've kicked out themselves. So the parties are just going to legalize their movement. Something that I think is just bound to happen.
We've had conversations here about leaders who belong to political party A, but fallen out with the ideologies and the narratives of political party A, and now they're more inclined to political party B. The logical thing one would expect is that they should resign from this particular political party and join the political party they see fit or feel they belong to. Why isn't that logic being operationalized with the likes of Boni Khalwale, who, if he wants, can resign from UDA? Talk about Caleb Amisi of ODM, has been very vocal, can resign from ODM. Mohammed Ali has accused the UDA SG of running the party like his business or his home. Why not just resign from UDA party?
My perception is that when you look at these people, politics, majority of them is about their interest in 2027. Secondly, I can say that politics is all about interest, loyalty, and also power of money. So right now, their interest is being that let us serve, let us not resign there, let us serve, we finish this term. Then when you look at a person like Muhammad Ali, and Muhammad Ali was a loyal man to William Ruto, but currently William Ruto cannot endorse him to be the governor of Mombasa. But Muhammad Ali wants to be a governor of Mombasa. So where will he be safe? Where will he be endorsed? He will be endorsed to a DCP party. So he has to move, go there, be loyal to Gachagua, so that during that time Gachagua can endorse him. When we look at people like Caleb Amisi was loyal to Baba, but Caleb Amisi will not be loyal to William Ruto. So the things that they are doing right now, they are just waiting for the appropriate time to move out. We have seen alliances like Okowa Kenya coming up. We shall see the formation of new political parties. So we can see Homa Bay. Magwanga wanted to be a governor, but Raila told him, no, let us support Gladys Wanga, you will be the deputy governor. So he feels it is his time now to go and move out. So they are preparing for their future to become certain leaders. So I believe majority of people who don't support broad-based government will move out and will go to a new political alliance that will make them survive and fulfill their ambitions.
Is it too early for them to leave these political parties? Do you feel it's too early, or are they buying time? Perhaps 2027.
They are just buying time.
Yeah.
For example, somebody like Sifuna. Sifuna has openly said that he cannot support William Ruto. But he comes up each and every day, says that there is no agreement that they made between ODM and UDA that they will support UDA candidate. And he feels that ODM must have a candidate. Mm-hmm. But you can see a person like Gladys Wanga, Honorable Gladys Wanga. She feels that for ODM to support UDA, she can be given a deputy president slot. So before 2027, we shall see a lot of shifts. Right. Probably beginning next year, some of them will just move out, start doing their campaign, joining their various political parties. Then, for example, we see right now parties are shaping according to the regions. You can see in Western region we have a party like DCP, DAP. Yesterday, Honorable Gachagua said that DCP party is a party for the mountain, and he was calling people from the mountain to go there. In Eastern, we see parties like Wiper. If you are not Wiper, you are told you will be out of the government. So after that, we shall see these parties forming up alliances and coalitions.
All right. Wasonga, with the experience Boni Halale has had in politics, he's been in it for a long time. He definitely would have envisaged this situation where he was supporting a candidate and the candidate lost, and he holds such a key position in the Senate for UDA party. He would have envisaged that perhaps he may be whipped and he may lose this particular political seat. But how thin is that line between democracy, especially within the political parties, that I'm allowed to voice a divergent view, as well as towing a particular political line, even if I do not believe in that theory?
What happens is that the democracy is there. I think when Sifuna was giving a different opinion about the stand of the ODM and the ODM party arrangement with the UDA party, the party leader Baba Raila Odinga came and defended Sifuna and says everybody has a right to say their opinion and give their contrary opinion in whichever decision the party is making. But one thing I will say is that, just to comment a little bit on what you asked of why these leaders could not deem it fit to resign, what happened is that, Cynthia, most of our elected leaders are only being elected by the virtue of riding on the popularity of a certain political party. For instance, if you go to Luo Nyanza, for example, the ODM nominations is always a high-stake thing. It's like a do-or-die thing, because an individual will say that, being that ODM enjoys the majority support from the Luo Nyanza, something that I don't agree with, but they will say that securing that particular party ticket will at least guarantee you a win into the general election. We know our electorate, most of us Kenyans, we are the biggest problem, because in most cases we don't vote individuals. We vote political parties, regardless of who is having the political party ticket. So when this individual now decided to differ or take a different route, the only problem that they don't find it resigning is that they know even if they resign, they might equally lose their seat, they might not even get re-election. So what always happens is this: they wait until the timeline that because it is normal that when they resign, there could be a by-election in their respective areas. So they will always wait until that time that by law the IEBC could not conduct any by-election and still prepared for the general election. As it is now, truth be told, there is no any another by-election we will be having between now and 2027. So this individual knows now that even if they resign today, they've been thrown from their political parties, and even their seats being whatever outcome it may be, then there will be no any other way that the by-election will be. There will be a by-election in their respective areas. So they will enjoy that period, that grace period, by virtue of IBC not ready to conduct any other by-election. Something that I think is not right, because we should be upholding our laws. But again, what happened is that when we go to the general election, this individual now will try to move to the other side.
Okay.
For Kalwale, he know what happening is that Kalwale is eyeing to become the next Kakamega governor, and is declared. So what is weighing on the support from the local leaders? Remember, in Kakamega there are now three main guys. We have the current women rep, who was declared running for the governor. Then we have the current governor and Aluale. And you know, Kalwale is now saying, among the three, who is possibly will become let's say, the broad-based candidate between Governor Barasa and the women rep? Who is possible to become the next, the broad-based candidate? On the other side, Malala, who is on the DCP deputy party leader, going for the same seat, Alwale believe that he has a chance to get support from the DAPK guards, okay, to be the candidate. Maybe in the near future he might shift to the DAPK party and maybe vie on a DAP party ticket. So whatever he was saying is now trying to realign himself with the possible outfit he might use in the next election. So I think technically that is what he was saying, because to him he says that even if I'm being kicked out of the office now, between now and 2027, there is no any way we'll be having another by-election for the Kakamega senatorial seat. So the best thing that now I should now start moving towards my new direction as I prep for 2027. Maybe he has realized that he doesn't have a chance to be given the UDA ticket or the ODM ticket, but there is a slight chance to be given the UDA, the DAPK party ticket.
Okay.
Yes. On the other side, he doesn't have any chance for Malala to step down for him to be given the DCP party ticket. So what is the best way for me? And again, I hear what President William Ruto says, that in most cases they will not field two candidates. If now they decided to agree and form a coalition between the ODM and the UDA. So what if in 2027 the UDA guys decided to support an ODM candidate and say Kakamega is an ODM zone, your governor was an ODM governor, so we'll give it to you guys. So you see, up to that arrangement, maybe the bullfighter decided now there is no any chance here, so I have to fight.
He's in a fight for his life.
It's a fight for his life. The bullfighter is fighting for his life. So he decided, now let me now pledge my allegiance to the DAPK, and now we're looking at the Western politics and how Natembea is coming in. Maybe he believes that with the backing of Natembea, he has a chance. Yes.
All right, Faraj.
To add something on that, since you know, we have been in our politics of godfathers, whereby if you are loyal to somebody, you get a chance. For example, in coastal region, if you are loyal to Njoho, you have high chances for you to be elected. In western region, things have changed. If you become loyal to Natembea, you will have high chances, because right now Natembea is a movement.
But his candidate failed.
Malava.
Let me comment on that. Let me comment on that. Yes, Natembea is a movement, despite of state machinery. Natembea endorsed my friend Eric in Kabuchai, Juele, the independent candidate, where the current speaker voted.
Why would he endorse an independent candidate? Why would he not fail his own candidate on a DAPK ticket and win that seat? Why independent candidate?
There is something that you will not understand about the DAP party. The DAP party, the party leader and the deputy party leader, who is Natembea, they were not in good terms. So yes, they were not in good terms, and their issues is being solved by the disciplinary action. Then also, when you look at Natembea, he tried to register a Tawe movement, but Tawe movement was not registered. So Natembea coming up supporting a DAP candidate, which is his party, and supporting the independent candidate, it is okay. He endorsed Eric, and Eric won in Wetangula's home ground, where he voted. So you can see that Natembea is a movement. Secondly, Natembea is only 3 years old in politics. And you can see the difference between him and the government machinery is only 1,000 votes. So Natembeya is a movement at its own. When Natembeya goes back and plans again, he will have several seats.
Let me ask you, my brother,
That's
just
all.
before you
Allow me-
finish.
He'll have several seats, MP seats, and also MP seats and also MCA seats. If Natembeya was not a movement, they tried to impeach him. Did they success? No.
Who tried to impeach him?
You behave that you don't know.
No, you said they.
Yeah?
The impeachment also happened within your county.
Yes, within your county. Why did Wetangula collapse 16 MCS from Trans Nzoia? What was the discussion in the hotel?
Can you give us the evidence of that discussion in the
conclude,
hotel?
Faraj.
Because that is something that we cannot substantiate.
So, my friend, you are not following politics. And when we go out, I will give you the evidence. So I was saying, like, I was concluding that Natembeya has been endorsed as a Luya kingpin, where he has gone to Vihiga, he has gone to Kakamega, he has gone to Bungoma, Trans Nzoia, and also Busia. So I believe Natembeya cannot be assumed and be called is just a governor. Natembeya is just a leader. Natembeya, Natembeya called Rigathi Gachagua and told him, we want as a united opposition to endorse the DAP candidate in Malava election. So Rigathi Gachagua listened to him. So I believe that in the next 1 year, Natembeya will be a very big force. You also see that Natembeya makes Honorable Wetangula and these other leaders, the likes of Honorable Mudavadi, to come up and plan again about the Western politics. But if you have been if you have traveled to Western, I have been lucky to travel to Western in several occasions. Note that just note down that the Western politics has changed.
Okay.
You know, my brother, I will be interested to understand the force of Natembeya and the kingpinship of Natembeya. If my memory serves me right, in the entire Western region, we had 3 by-elections. Okay?
Yes.
That is the Kabuchai,
Malava,
the Kisa, and the Malava.
Yes.
How many seats did the DAPK and Natembeya won? I will not say that you won on an independent candidate when you are the deputy party leader of a political parties. If there was to be because let us not just behave like some content creators doing the TikTok videos. No. If Natembeya was really the force that majority have been made to believe he is, then at least out of the 3 could have even won 2 or 1. But in this case, he won none. In fact, I would rather say that the deputy party leader of the DCP party leader, Mheshimiwa Malala, performed better than Natembeya. And also the UDA brigade performed in the by-election because at least in the 3 by-election, the DCP won 1. That is the Kisa MCA, and also the UDA won 1, the Malava by MP seat. But Natembeya in this party and this whole brigade and the bravado and everything, they got nothing. So how then do you want to say that you as a deputy party leader, who have already positioned yourself as the next kingpin, you go into a by-election that will at least send some messages to the electorate, then you come empty-handed and you want to tell us.
Let me answer him first, then we go. Are you aware that Natembeya endorsed Eric, the independent candidate? Just say yes or no. Just say yes or no. Are you aware?
I'm not aware.
Then be aware.
Was there a DAPK candidate in that ward? Was there a DAPK candidate in the same ward?
I have already told you that there is a fallout.
Leave alone the fallout. If there was a fallout within the party, even if there was a fallout within the party, then at least you could have even proved to the party that my side of the party is the majority side and has got more voices by winning that particular seat. So, my friend, if a leader, if in politics, if you don't want a particular seat, then my friend, you don't have numbers. So you just listen and relax.
All right, listen, gentlemen. I'd
Tukupange.
love us to, as we conclude this conversation,
Yes.
let's talk about the performance, because you already begin touching on it. But the performance of the opposition in these by-elections, with DCP, going home with 3 seats, that is all wards, ward representatives, Kisa East, talk about Kariobangi North as well as in Narok County. We also have in Momboni ward where Wiper won against MCC, in Bungoma in Chwele Kabuchai constituency where an independent candidate won, a candidate who was being supported by Majimbo Kalasingo of Ford Kenya, and then obviously the government taking the day in all constituencies. If you look at that performance, Gachagua says they've won 3 out of 5, and that's a good performance for them, especially being that it's a new party. But the fact that, a DP candidate lost in Mbeere North, a DAPK candidate lost in Malava constituency, a DCP candidate lost in Magarini constituency. From where you sit, Faraj, how was the performance of the opposition in the polls? Did they, as CBC would mark it, exceed expectation, below expectation? How was it?
To me, I believe opposition performed. Matiani delivered 3 seats, and that was excellent. Honorable Gachagua had 3 seats for MCS. That is excellent. Despite of all challenges that the opposition faced, you can see that, for example, in Mbeere North, the margin was slightly less than 500 votes. For opposition, where I believe that opposition should just strengthen themselves and work a bit harder for 2027, but they have performed very well.
How hard do they need to work? Because they're up against government. How hard do they need to work?
They should check their strategies. For example, let me comment on Banisa first. When you see the candidate who won in Banisa is a UDA candidate, but that candidate was at first he had gone to a DCP party, that is Honorable Ahmed. When he joined the DCP party, the president called him to the State House. Then he changed his mind, he shifted to UDA. So I believe that opposition have potential. They just have to reorganize themselves, and come 2027, they will secure a majority of seats. Then secondly, we can see that majority of the opposition aspirants had limited resources. And these campaigns, they were mostly influenced by power of money. You can see that somebody like Ndakwa, the UDA candidate in Malava, his chief campaigner was Farouk, who is the PA to the president. So he cannot complain that he didn't have resources. Unlike the Seth Panyako, whereby the Governor Natembeya said that they only used 5 million against the government, and they tried. So 2027, it's not too far. So those who won election, what they should do, they should deliver their promises. If they don't, opposition will not joke with them.
All right.
I think just following what you said on the CBC, I'm not good with the CBC. I think that I'm an old school. I would say that looking at the individual performance of the opposition political parties, I will give it to DCP. And actually, they met expectation because they had 5 candidates, and out of 5, they won 3. That's a very good show. For Matiang'i, I will not say he did perform. The 3 guys who won in Nyamira County, they were all on a UPA ticket. Matiang'i is vying on a Jubilee ticket. I don't know how many candidates we have on a Jubilee ticket and how many won on a Jubilee ticket. if I'm corrected.
I want to...
Was there any candidate on a Jubilee? And
No,
do we have anyone elected
no.
on a Jubilee ticket?
Formally, the UPA party belonged to Matiang'i.
No, the UPA
before
party...
Matiang'i was endorsed to be
No, my brother, let me correct you. The UPA party leader is the Nyamira governor, Honorable Amos Nyaribo, currently impeached. Okay?
Yes.
Matiang'i was endorsed and even appointed the deputy party leader of the Jubilee party. So
Recently.
Was this a strategy for him to drop the party, you know, from these by-elections and support UPA?
Why, under normal circumstances, why should I leave my house and come and paint your own house when my house also need painting?
I mean,
don't you think
DCP supported DP
yes,
in
the DP
Mbeere North, right?
In Mbeere North, the immediate member of Mbeere North constituency was a DCP guy, Mheshimiwa Ruku. He was elected on a DP ticket. So, in such an arrangement, the DP party leader could have argued that this seat was currently occupied by a DP ticket, so it's only back, you give it back to us. And the Gachagua obliged and says, if this is what you want, then I will support your candidate, since that we are in the same arrangement. Okay? Look at in Malava. Okay? They also had the same arrangement. Even though the deputy party leader of the DCP insisted that they must have a candidate, but Rigathi Gachagua says no. Our brothers argue that this is their stronghold and they have a better chance of winning this seat as to our candidates, then let's support their candidate, which they did. So what happens is that Rigathi Gachagua has really cemented his position as the prefect of the united opposition. As always he wanted to be. Because if you look at how these other parties performed, they performed below average. Mheshimiwa Kalonzo Musyoka has just proven that his influence is just within the Ukambani region, and past Ukambani he has got nothing. Because why would he not only win that one KMCA seat within Ukambani? Why would he not even go outside? At least for the DCP party. Why am I giving it to Rigathi Gachagua? And not that I'm supporting him, not that I believe it, but I will give it to him. Rigathi Gachagua performed outside the Mount Kenya, even though he has always, out of the 10 statement he make, 8 must start on Mount Kenya, only 2 will start outside Mount Kenya. But again, at that, he stretches his tentacles outside Mount Kenya, and one in Western, one in Narok, and also in Nairobi. That's a very good show for a political party. How will you tell me that Matiang'i performed when is the party leader, deputy party leader of the Jubilee party, intended to vie on the same political party, but had no candidate, none of his candidates won? How will you tell me that Natembeya and Eugene won when his candidate lost and now decided to console himself with an independent candidate? The same thing, Matiang'i cannot come and console himself with and brag about the UPA guys who won. What if today the UPA guys decided to say, now we are not supporting the united opposition, we will form coalition with the government? All his MCS will now fall in line and support the government and say we are in broad-based government. Because let's say today we know what is happening in Nyamira. The party leader, Mheshimiwa Nyaribo, is impeached. Yes. Await the verdict of the Senate. What if he being impeached and may say, okay, I've been impeached, now I will not even vie, I'll support President William Ruto. And my party as the UPA, now I will support the broad-based government. What will happen to the 3 elected MCS? They will all follow him to the broad-based government. Then what will Matiang'i tell people? Oh, my candidates have gone back. That will be a very big setup. So I think for the united opposition performance, the only party that did performed was the DCP party. But the rest, only I will not say maybe Wiper tried and maybe tried to say that we are the local party we are. They are just village guys doing their local politics. They did well. But these other parties, they performed below average because under normal circumstances, the DP could have won that the Mbeere North ticket, and the DPK could have even won the Malava ticket. This could have really sent a strong message to the government side and tell them, guys, whatever we are saying is true. But as it is now, whatever they are saying, they want time and they must go, is just but some, what the CJ would say, hot air. All right, gentlemen, we have to wrap this conversation up. So I'd love to give you a minute as well to comment on the government side, have the broad-based government, for that matter, having won these constituencies, they will be heading into 2027 elections feeling quite strong, up against DCP, up against WIPE, up against DAPK, and they still managed to add the tally on members of parliament total that they'll have in parliament. So government will be faring very strongly, wouldn't they, in just a minute as we wrap it up, Faraj?
So my final comment is to say that for UDA to win these seats, they came up with a strategy whereby in Mbeere North, you can see that where we had the boy who was initially in DCP. He shifted to vie as an independent candidate. Then Moses Kuria called him and told him join the CCM party. Then he joined the CCM party CCK party, sorry, CCK party. Then he got around 3,000 votes, which was a disadvantage to the DP party. So my final conclusion is that for opposition to form a government in 2027, they should look at their strategies. They should not allow any of their votes, especially from their strongholds, to go away. Then, then on the government side right now, they have a plan of divide to rule. So they are looking for a way to divide the opposition so that they can get more votes. Okay. Then my last comment, I want to urge the youth to register, because in these by-elections, there were no youths who are voting. We see the normal circumstances where we see the mamas and the old men voting. So to make a change in the future, youth must vote.
All right. Wasonga in a minute as well.
First, I will say that the government side, the broad-based government side, winning 15 out of 23 is a very big boost to them, because we had 23 by-election and they won 15. On the major seats, that is the MP and the Senate, the UDA won 4 and ODM getting 3. To me, that was a very big boost to them. And these have really sent the united opposition back to the drawing board and asked themselves how serious they are. Number 2, this by-election has also proven that this Gen Z narrative and the youth narrative, the youth of this country must be having so many serious problems. Okay? And I think maybe they will start taking the president's advice seriously.
to marry.
On the 25 and above. So at least maybe they can taste the kind of, the weight of being responsible and maybe the urge of getting change. Because the youths will now realize that winning an election or bringing the change that we need is not just a social media thing. It requires more than just that. We need to get outside their votes. I started questioning the effect of the Gen Zs and the youths when I see the turnout during the continuous voter registration. There was a very low voter turnout, and I said to myself, these young brothers and sisters of ours they are just not ready for the change that this country needs. So I think going into the 2027 election, this will now come out and change their mentality on what kind of a country we want to have. But as per the results of the by-election and the outcome, the government won big, and this has really boosted their urge, and they are really giving them a big boost towards the general election.
And their egos as well.
And the ego, actually. And now they've been working with their chest high. The ego is now doubled. Okay, they said now, easy zenyu, nikelele tu, and you realize what the president, we have one kind of a president who has got a lot of a very proud one at that. You understand what I'm saying. Yeah. So I think the united opposition were the biggest losers in this by-election, and the government were the biggest winners. For some guys like Sifuna also, they lost, because if ODM could have performed anyhow, they could be a very big win to them. But today, maybe people are starting to have a second thought on their ability to lead.
Thank you very much, gentlemen, for your time this morning to come in and talk about this. On my immediate right, Faraj Omumia, the youth leader and a politician as well, Matthew Wasonga, the Secretary General for the Grand Political Movement Party. I wonder why I didn't see your party in this by-election.
Yeah, we did have candidates, and we will come one day and tell you about the party. And what we stand for as a party.
So, no problem.
When that time is right, we will talk about the party.
No problem. Yes. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for your time this morning. That's been the conversation around the mini polls, the aftermath, winners, losers, and all that is in between. We'll be keeping our eyes on the two houses, Senate as well as the Parliament and the parliamentary committees for that matter, to just see whether or not this whip will be cracked, especially on key leaders who are supporting rival parties, Mohamed Ali, Caleb Amisi, Boni Halwale, Majimbo Kalasinga, and so many more who I'm yet to mention, but we'll be keeping our eyes on that. So what a day it is ahead. I will be talking about some of the latest stories as well in our subsequent bulletins. Do keep it EBN TV, don't go too far. My name is Cynthia Nanjala. Have yourself a blessed morning ahead.